Rise and shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
A fun show today, Fel.
Yeah, look, we're in the background. We've been talking about Aussie slang, and there's a question of whether drongos is a positive or a negative term. I always thought it was a negative, so we haven't used it a lot.
I see it as a good word to use when someone's been a drongo.
When they're being you're being a drongo, mate.
You're a drongo.
So you're not silly. You're just a drongo.
That's it.
But we had some fun because after this, we're going to put the podcast together, and then we're going to be putting together a video to send to old mate Danny Goki.
Yes.
Who's coming to Australia soon. Also on today's show, you're going to hear a little snippet from The First Hymn. It's a documentary coming out by Ben Fielding. He's worked on the song, The First Hymn, which we play here at Vision. But the song is based on some music and on a papyrus thing. What would you say? It's like
a piece of papyrus, which was their version of paper.
Yeah, back in the day.
From ancient Egypt.
I know, and it's amazing. So The First Hymn, it's a documentary about how this was all put together. And at the moment, we're looking for some people. If you are listening and you're in Brisbane in particular, and you reckon you could be a movie reviewer for us, we've got some free passes to give away. So you can get in touch. Our text number 0447 488 316. But we have to give them away. If you're listening, depending, I know this will last into the future, but it's really the premiere's on the 30th of June, so it has to be before then for us to get those tickets to you.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing story, Fel. It's an 1,800-year-old hymn.
Amazing.
You know, some Jippo songwriter wrote this 1,800 years ago in Egypt, and here we have it now.
Well, it's the early church.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing the documentary to see what it's all about. And you can get out to theatres near you to see it soon.
Yeah, so this Jippo, he'd be one of the most influential Egyptians in history.
Jippo.
Because right now, thousands of people around the world are singing his song. How cool is that?
It is pretty cool. And it's a beautiful, the first hymn, what they've put together, using that as kind of inspiration is beautiful as well. But it is it's a cool story. We'll talk about it a bit more next week. And Andy and I are going to be out and about at some of those premieres when it comes to cinemas. So
you might see us at Hobart. You will see me in Canberra and Melbourne. You'll see Greg Newman in Adelaide and Neil Johnson in Brisbane. Not sure who's doing the Sydney one, but someone special from Vision will be there, won't they?
So it's pretty exciting. Anyway, you can head over to vision.org.au/tickets or /giveaway. It sends you to the same place, but that's got all the details for you there. But enjoy the podcast. Good morning. It's your Thursday and you're waking up with Fel and Andy. Morning, Andy.
Good morning, Fel. How are you today?
Look, I'm a little bit tired. With a big night last night at our place.
A biggie? What were we up to?
Well, I'll keep you hanging.
Okay.
It involved a stage.
Okay.
And some very cheap popcorn, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say maybe Australia's cheapest popcorn was on offer last night.
Sounds like a typical night for me.
And he's on the stage all the time. You know what else we're very excited about? Yesterday, we started talking about Aussie slang, Aussie terms.
It was an educational experience for you, wasn't it, Phil?
It was. You became more Aussie by the second. Like, by the end of the show. Andy is like Aussie man.
Aussie man.
Aussie man there.
Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily podcast. Please subscribe to the show, rate it on your favourite podcast platform, and share the link on your socials. It all helps get the word out.
And I'm a bit tired, Andy.
Yeah, Phil. So what was going on last night? When you said, there was a stage and cheap popcorn, I said that's a typical night for me. I was just thinking about the cheap popcorn, but didn't really process.
What's the cheapest that you normally get popcorn at, Andy?
Well, it's hard to get cheap popcorn because it's expensive.
For what it is.
But I love a deal, Phil. I love buying stuff a little bit cheap. But anyway, it's not about me, it's about you today, Phil. So where did you go with the cheap popcorn and the stage? Okay,
well, last night, Millie was in the opening night of the school musical. So tonight is the closing night. It's a short season, but it's very exciting. As a parent, I just love, I'm a bit of a teary when it comes to kids, kids, So she's up on stage and dancing a little heart out. And you're just so proud. Like, it is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And, and thinking through, we had, during the audition as a family, we live, like, you feel like you live it, right?
Yeah,
so we've learnt the dances.
Yeah.
I've learnt the main song.
Yeah.
Gonna let your light shine on me. Like, Millie and I spent weeks practicing that line going around the house.
Yeah.
And so, kind of, as that comes on, even Murray, and he is not a musical person, like as in he doesn't love musicals.
Yeah.
I think I'm educating him about, and the girls,
Yeah.
the poor thing. Sorry, Murray. But even he was like, I could sing that part as it's coming on. Our whole family could have got up and done solo for that piece of the musical. We
So
knew
you've
it
all been
well.
invested.
We were all invested in it, and then to see it come through, it was just fantastic.
So was Millie only dancing or was she singing as well? Or
She was in what they call a feature dancer. So she had a couple of lines. So every time she's speaking, you're like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
But out quite at the front of the stage dancing. And yeah, there was a bit and acting, of course, but it was camp rock, which is quite a dancing, singing type of a musical.
Okay.
But very fun. And look, the popcorn for that, $1.
Oh, hello.
$1 popcorn,
Someone's
Andy.
not making money
I
there.
thought the school could probably have done a bit better. Like I would have paid more.
$1. How big was the container though?
Well, not bad. Like, a fair enough for a person.
That's awesome.
I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I would expect 5 maybe.
Well, at least it's closing night tonight, so I'll be going and getting like a bunch of popcorn and taking it home. But it was very fun. We had a ball watching the kids, and I was sitting next to a mum, and she had said to me, I said to her, "Were you in musicals? During school?" And yeah, she had been, and she said, "Were you in musicals?" I was like, "Every single one of them. Like if there was a chance to be on a stage, I was there." Were you in musicals, Andy?
I was in musicals until you had to go to practices on Saturdays, and then I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not wasting
Were
my
you
Saturday.
really?
That was my attitude. Well, I lived on a beach, Phil. It's like beach, being at school all day with teachers. I'll choose the beach. So
I don't blame you.
But I did have starring roles in the grade 6 musicals. Yeah, I used to love it as well. But off me again, have you ever seen that TV show Dance Mums on Netflix?
Oh, yes. The girls made me watch it.
Yeah, my youngest daughter and I watch it because she loves it. It is so funny, isn't it?
I can only handle so much of it. But yes,
The cray-cray dance mums. Because they've obviously
pretty
carefully
intense.
selected each one of those mums because they just know they're cray-cray. And it's going to erupt. It's just like a volcano waiting to erupt.
Well, I think it's because as a parent, though, you've got to really protect yourself against that because everything in you, you want to make sure that your child has their moment.
You want to be that dance mum.
I work very hard not to be the dance mum, to be honest.
They're all half cut though, aren't they? Those dance mums. They're all a little bit cray-cray. Yeah, but,
dear.
No, it's funny. I look as a parent, like you said, we only see the best in our kids. Don't we? We love seeing them do anything in life, whether it be sport or performing or speaking. It's awesome, isn't it?
It's pretty special. So that was my night, closing night.
Yeah.
It's short, but we'll get there. But no, very exciting. And
Good for the Limmer family, hey?
the Limmer family. There you go, out representing. Josh will only go to one night, so he's coming tonight.
Okay.
So there you go. So he was like, nah, I'm not doing both.
He's drawn a line in the sand.
He's like, I'm a one-night guy. So the whole Limmer family will be there tonight. More cheap popcorn. Brilliant.
Sounds like a great night, Phil.
Yeah, it does.
Rise and shine on Vision Christian Radio.
Denny Goki is on his way out.
He is.
The Sound of Heaven tour, or the Thunder Down
Thunder
Under.
Down Under. That's what it's going to be called, the Thunder Down Under tour.
And he's pitching pretty hard. But look, Danny Goki, you'll know from this sort of song.
That one?
That's it. That's the comeback. We love him here on Vision. Play a lot of his music. Brilliant. We're going to be dancing away at his concert a couple of weeks from now, not long to go. And you can still get tickets over at vision.org.au/tickets. But I feel like it's a cry for help.
It is a cry for help because we found a clip of him and his wife trying to learn what certain Aussie phrases meant. They had no idea. They were saying them and they were trying to work out what they meant. So I want to play a bit of that clip now, Phil, because there's some concerning aspects to this.
Stunned mullet. That's definitely what you have going on.
Dude, I mean, total
Give them a side view. Bam. Stunned mullet.
total Hulk Hogan mullet.
Cobber.
Cobber's like
Cobber.
a good old corn on the cob. But it's like so good and juicy, it's a corn on it's a cobber. Cobber, mate.
It's a cobber. It has its own thing.
Peach cobber. Never mind.
Sparrow's fart.
Okay, come on.
It's definitely what you do every morning when we wake up.
So when the Bible says
Keep a
this,
sparrow
no,
fart.
So a lot of issues there, Phil.
Well, he got mate. I thought his mate was probably the strongest piece of that.
Stunned mullet. I've never heard a mullet called a mullet before.
So we've taken the cry from help. We've gone national with it. We're like, come on, Vision family, let's work together to come up with a better list. By the end of today, you and I need to make a video, send it to Danny.
We're going to.
And help educate him.
Yeah, we're going to be part of the education process. We're going to learn him, Fel. We're going to learn him.
We're going to learn him real good.
So we're asking you to help us with your favourite Aussie slang phrases so we can send these to Danny and help him understand how to speak Australian.
Look, and here's some to warm you up this morning. Robin's going to kick us off. What's your favourite, Robin?
One of my favourites is fair dinkum.
Fair dinkum.
I don't know if that's been discussed already.
No.
Fair dinkum.
Fair dinkum legend
That's
you
a
are.
good one.
It is a very Aussie saying, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And my dad used to say, stone the crows.
Yeah.
Do you use
Animal lovers would like that.
No, I don't think it sounds very animal friendly. But fair dinkum, do you use it, Robin?
No, I don't. But I used to know a guy way back in the 80s, I think it was. He said it all the time, like every second word.
Yeah.
It's forever stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try using it through the day. Fair dinkum legend.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah, good idea.
It's a real country saying, isn't it? I'm just trying to think. One of my cousins used to always say fair dinkum as well.
Oh, really?
And he's only about my age. I don't know if he probably still does say it, actually, but he's a real country boy.
Yeah, there you go. Stone the crows.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my dad was a country boy.
Oh, beautiful. And do you think we need to bring it back, Robin? Should we be bringing back some of these Aussieisms?
Totally. Get rid of this horrible swearing and bring back the Aussie saying. Absolutely.
Done.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, there's lots of good ones.
Just calling up about the Aussie slang.
Yes, please help us.
So it's not so much a phrase, but a slang. Yeah, nah, and nah, yeah.
Yeah.
It frustrates me, that saying.
Well, it covers all bases, doesn't it? You're never wrong when you say yeah, no. No, yeah, no, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No
It's
words?
quite
Yeah.
confusing.
Do you
for
use
those
that
who
a lot?
don't understand.
Do you use it a lot, Peter?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, nah.
It's actually a form of
When I'm not
gaslighting, really, isn't
thinking
it?
about it.
What's the answer? Yeah, no, yeah, no.
Do you want to do this? Yeah, nah.
Yeah, no.
Well,
Yeah.
then let your yes be yes and your no be no.
Were you there this morning at 10 o'clock?
Well-
Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, the thing is, you say yeah, nah, but you're actually saying no. And then no, yeah, is you're actually saying yes.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't actually
Wow.
even read that into it.
That's quite sophisticated, that. I'm not that sophisticated when I say
Andy's just not doing anything. So, yeah, nah, you're saying no.
No.
Nah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
saying
is yes.
yes,
Wow.
whatever comes last.
It's kind of you're thinking about it for a second.
But I like the one, she'll be right.
Yes.
I think that's a good one. And
the
it
nation
goes
was
with the
built
whole-
on that, Shez. She'll be right, mate.
she'll be
no
right.
worries. You know?
Exactly right.
That's how
It
we
matches
failed
the
at
whole
Gallipoli.
Matthew-
That's how Ned Kelly lost. That's how the Jolly Swagman jumped in the river and gave up. She'll be right, mate. Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. You have to make
Eureka
it.
Stockade. How many failings do I need to list? That motto didn't really help us, did it,
Right,
Shez?
That's what Shez has heard all her life.
We've gone rogue.
We've gone rogue. Shez has gone rogue.
Well, that's even an Aussie saying in itself. Does anyone else say you've gone rogue?
I'm just going to add him in. I think we've gone rogue.
We've gone rogue.
Yeah, and you've got to have some avo on your toes.
Yeah, smashed Avo.
Smashed Ab. I don't know if Americans say that. That's
That
a good point.
is definitely worth writing down for
You
our
need
friend
that
Danny.
because you need to be able to order your brekkie.
That's right. And you can order a cuppa to go with that.
A cuppa.
Yes, a cuppa. I
We
like
could
that.
make a whole sentence and then try and get them to decode it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Could even have a cuppa kappa.
Do you call a cappuccino kappa, dear?
Well, I don't because I'm a proper barista, so I know what it's really called. But all these years, people come in and they're like, "Yeah, I'll have a cup of kappa, thanks."
Really?
Oh, really?
Thanks, Darl.
I haven't
There's
heard that.
another one. Just
Talking about
really?
yeah, 100%.
they mean-
I'm Australian. I don't even know what these people are talking about when I figured it out. I mean,
I don't even know these people are talking about.
right?
Do you want a cappuccino then?
Yeah, I'm like, have a cup. Because that's the other thing when I was listening to Danny Goki before, they were like, oh, but it's ant. You've got to say it like ant, like Aussie, because
Yes.
akadaka, not arkadaka.
That's right.
Arkadaka.
Oh, dear. I love that. So that was Robin, Peter and Shez. They've given their ideas.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Vision's breakfast show is now available around the clock and on demand? Incredible! The Rise and Shine podcast. Rise and Shine.
Are you ready for a challenge? Listen to the mystery sound, correctly name the Bible story, and win a great prize. Sounds easy, but is it? Rise and Shine's Bible Story Sound Off.
That's right. This is the game where we have this time machine. We go back in time, pull out a sound from a Bible story. Your job at home, match the sound to the Bible story.
Yes, and we've got a new sound this week, Phil, because someone solved the mystery from last week.
Well done, Stefan.
Stefan nailed it. Let's have a little listen to the new sound, Phil.
Right. Well, that's very good. Look, to me...
You like that sound, do you?
Well, I don't mind. I mean, it features in, I reckon, a lot of different Bible stories, so I don't know that we can necessarily say it's easy. But do you have yesterday? Well, let's listen to it one more time if you're listening along. We had a lot of good guesses yesterday.
Some really good guesses.
For day one.
Look, you cannot go past Moses and the burning bush when it sounds like fire.
Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego getting thrown into a fiery furnace.
Good answer.
So I thought it'd be Philip and the eunuch when Philip ran up to the chariot.
That would be great.
But they're all wrong, which means there's an opportunity, Phil, for someone today to solve the mystery.
The Rise and Shine podcast.
Are you ready for a challenge? Listen to the mystery sound, correctly name the Bible story, and win a great prize. Sounds easy, but is it? Rise and Shine's Bible Story Sound Off.
That's right, and we've got a sound. It's only day 2, Andy, so it's early days.
It's a freshie.
It's a freshie. Here's the sound. Okay, that's the sound. If you think you know what it is, I mean, it's very, very quick if you get it today.
Fresh as a daisy, Phil.
Fresh as the daisy. But I can see I've got Adam. Now, Adam's won this in the past. He's pretty good at it. Adam from Marysville, what do you reckon?
Is it Elijah going up to heaven when in the fiery chariot? Or...
Wow, what makes you think that?
And I just thought of it just before I rang you.
Well, you know what, Adam, I think you've just set a record, mate, because you have solved it on day 2.
It was just one of those...
Very impressive.
It was just one of those Sunday school stories that come back to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
because it says chariots of fire, so that you could hear the fire. The next sound we're going to play was the wind, and then we're going to play the chariot. But you've beaten us to the punch there.
You didn't even need it.
You've nailed it.
Wow. Way to go, Adam.
Well, you stay in the line, brother, and we're going to get your details, and we're going to send you out a prize, mate. Well done. Day 2, he has solved it.
Well, I've got another Aussie slang, like it's when you leave somewhere like a house.
Okay.
Or someone's house or church.
What do you say?
I'll be off like a bucket of prawns in the hot sun.
Well, we'll let you hold on there, but you'll be off like a bucket of prawns then, Adam.
In the hot sun, I like it.
Good job.
Okay, mate, thank you so much. Just hold the line, okay? Well, you never know, Phil, unless you have a go.
Well, what do you think, Anne? How do you feel? Because, are you disappointed that your sound went off so early?
I know. I'm really proud of Adam. I can't believe it. I mean, he had a fair old crack there, didn't he, He's come out on top.
Oh, you're becoming the most Aussie show ever. We will revert back to normal by tomorrow.
Well, maybe not, Phil. Maybe we'll stay there.
We will revert back.
It's the daily podcast of your favourite Aussie breakfast show, Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine.
We've got someone who's phoned in here with some ideas. Who have we got there?
Evelyn, how are you today?
Yeah, great, Evelyn. Have you got some Aussie slang for us?
I have. My dad used to say, look at that silly yob. And if there were a lot of them, if there was a bunch of them...
A bunch of yobs.
Look at that silly yob.
What a silly bunch of yobbos.
A bunch of yobs is a yobbo, of course. That's fantastic.
That's good.
Did you get called that very much, Evelyn?
Oh, no. I was... I was of the age where children were seen and not heard.
Of course.
And if you had to ask a question... And it was usually when Mum and Dad had visitors or something, and you needed to leave the table, but you couldn't because you had to ask, and you were bursting to go to the loo, and you had to wait until they took a breath, and they didn't. And there was trouble. There was big trouble.
The discussions were
like
quite intense, were they? The conversations.
There was no pause.
Oh, they never stopped to take a breath. If one took a breath, you think, but the other one wouldn't. And it was terrible.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Yes, so, but my dad always used to say, look at that silly yob. What a bunch of... And if there was a lot of them, like the footy mob would get all excited, he would say, what a bunch of yobbos.
There you go.
I love it. We don't hear that enough anymore, do we? I
Well,
used to
we
hear
could
that a
use
lot
it
when I was a
today.
kid.
I think we could go upstairs and say that to the Vision
But
guys.
it was only for men too. You'd never call a woman a yobbo. It was
Oh,
always,
okay.
it was a male term.
No,
yeah.
no. Oh, gosh, no. But there is a book on Aussie slang.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Yes.
Maybe we need to find
I
that.
bought it, but I can't remember who wrote it. It's sitting on my shelf somewhere.
Okay.
But there is a book on Aussie slang. I thought, we can't lose this.
No.
This is what makes us who we are.
Exactly. And we need to send this term to Danny Goki as well, you silly yob. He needs to learn that one.
We'll put that on the list.
yes.
He'll probably say to
I
some of the
think
contents,
so.
hey, you bunch of yobbos, how are you today?
You probably offend everybody.
That's right.
Yes, I know. You have to be rather careful and say it quietly. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
I'm
yobbo,
more
have you had a smashed ammo today?
Hang up on you, and then you've got trouble. Yes.
Yeah, you don't want them. Yeah, that's right. Ganging up on you in the background. Evelyn,
Yes.
brilliant. We love it. Thank you so much.
Yes, and he also used to say, "Oh, I've got to get up with the sparrows tomorrow." And
Sparrows.
Yep. Old
get
Sparrow.
up with the bird, up with the sparrows.
Yeah.
The sparrows.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't think the sparrows are very early risers, to be honest with you.
Well, I've never seen one up early.
The crack of 9 a.m. The sparrows are getting up.
Yes, my daughter always said her morning started at 11.
So you're up with what animal gets up at 11? There you go.
I wonder if the sparrow
Up with
was
the cockatoos.
because the sparrows are the smallest birds, and when they broke wind, it was a quiet sound. You see, because at the crack of dawn, there's no sound; it's quiet. So that's probably why it was called sparrow. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to say
Sure,
to my
that's where it
daughter,
comes
I'm
from.
up early.
Mm.
And I'd say, you're missing the best part of the day. It's stunning. How can you not enjoy that? And I'd get, go away.
Yeah.
Oh, Evelyn, well done. Thank you so much. We're glad you got up with the sparrows today.
A stubborn person is like getting a horse out of a bog.
That's a good one.
I've never heard of that before. Well, this is
yes.
very educational. Wonderful.
Yes, it is. Okay, bless you.
Thanks,
have
Evelyn.
A fabulous day. It's wonderful. It's magnificent. So have a beautiful day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, beautiful.
That was funny, Phil. Yeah, yobbo. I haven't heard yobbo much lately, actually, but that is a great Aussie saying.
We're caffeinated and ready to face the day. This is Rise and Shine on Vision.
I want to give a big shout out to our Vision family members in the Barossa Valley in South Australia, particularly in Riverton. We had a Vision family member, give along to Visionathon over the weekend, which is so exciting. We have hit the target for Visionathon last Friday. Wonderful. Thanks to the 5,227 of our Vision family who have jumped on board to give. But it's wonderful that in the Barossa, and this is the comment from our Vision family member there, it's great that so many can access Christian radio and hear positive messages and uplifting music. And it's true, isn't it, Andy? Like, we're so encouraged to know there's like 800,000 listeners plus, because that's the baseline across the country, all listening because so many people have got on board to give. And we're very, very thankful. And in Barossa, you're listening along on 87.6 FM on multiple different transmitters there. And your weather today, about 9 degrees, heading up to 13, a bit of a cloudy day. But it'll be beautiful. Beautiful part of the world.
Well, it's a famous part of Australia, isn't it?
Very famous.
The Barossa Valley.
Danny Goki might like to go there
You
when he
think?
comes to visit. I'm sure. Well, why not? Put it on the list.
Yeah, well, I've got a Bible verse, Phil, and it's in Romans chapter 5, and we're in verse 15. So Paul here is comparing Adam to Jesus. Obviously, through Adam, sin came into the world. Through Jesus, salvation came into the world, just to give some context.
Thank you.
And he says, but the free gift is not like the offense. For if by the one man's offense, that's Adam's offense, many died, we all spiritually died, much more because of the grace of God and the gift of the man, Jesus Christ, life and grace abounded to many.
I love that
How
piece
good is
of the
that?
Bible. It is so good. And it does, you wonder with Paul, the Apostle Paul, and we've been speaking about him as we go through Acts, he tells it like it is.
Yep.
So he clearly pins it on Adam. Adam, through one man's offence, death came, sin, but it was spread to all men, as he then goes on to say as well.
But through
how
Jesus,
great
life
Jesus.
came. Yeah.
Jesus came to give
He
life.
calls Jesus a second Adam in other scriptures too, doesn't he? So he compares the two. So, Jesus is the one we focus on. He's the one we worship. He's the one we follow because he overcame sin and death.
Reconciled us back to God.
You found the podcast of Vision's breakfast show, Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine.
Well, we have Australia's favourite author, pastor and speaker, Col Stringer. He's probably the most Aussie pastor we know, Fel, and he's with us today on Rise and Shine. Col, welcome again.
Hey, thanks, Andy. Thank you for having me. So praise the Lord.
Now, you've written an Australian guide to the Bible, Col, and normally at this time of the day we do a Bible study, actually. So you are our Bible study today. Tell us about the book you wrote to help Aussies read the Bible.
Well, it's amazing because when I wrote it, I did a couple of posters, particularly one about David and Goliath, the Aussie version, and we even ended up putting it up in pubs. Can you imagine when's the last time the Bible's been stuck up in a pub?
Well, how did you describe it in Aussie language, the battle between David and Goliath?
It's a bit long, but anyway, I just put it up like the Anzac stood on the hill on one side of Snake Gully and the Philistine bushwhacker stood on the other. The enemy had a great big lump of a bloke called Goliath who was so tall his mates called him Lofty. Fair dinkum, he was so tall that if he fell over, he'd be halfway home. So
that's great.
After he meets up with Goliath, I'll just read you this little bit here. He sees Goliath and he says, so Dave walked up to meet Goliath carrying a Shanghai. When Goliath saw the little bloke, he laughed and said, "What do you reckon I am, kid, a spoggy? Take one step closer, I'll give you the biggest knuckle sandwich you've ever seen." David says, "Come off the grass, bullfed. Just because you've got a head like a hubcap, you think you're a big wheel."
That's good, man. And that got put up in a pub, did it?
He says, "I've seen better heads on a beer, mate."
There aren't many Bibles that mention beer in it.
I love it.
That's very fun.
So, so the pub liked it so much they put a copy of it up on the wall, did they?
Yeah, they did, up in the territory. And a lot of blokes liked it because, Aussie blokes, when they first start going to church, it's a bit of a culture shock to them, and I can remember that myself. So anything that I sort of thought would sort of lessen the gap, make it. So I get a lot of letters from the mainly older generation about it. But anyway, whatever you can do to make it easier for people to come to church.
Look, I think that you've nailed it on the head, haven't you? When we can use the language that people are familiar with, or just make them giggle like that as we're reading it. You're translating. I have to translate it because my background's Kiwi there. So as you're talking, I'm trying to work out what you're saying, Col. But
yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, the Kiwis, I love it. You got your jandals and your...
Or when they drive fast in the car, like put the foot down. Instead of saying put the foot down, they say give it the jandal.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
But, how did you describe Goliath so tall that he'd be halfway home?
Yes.
That is so laconic. I was in England once with this really posh English gentleman, and he was describing the David and Goliath story to us, and this is how he described Goliath. Okay. He said, he was a big chap.
A big chap.
A big chap. That's all he said. It's the most understated description of Goliath ever. He was a big chap. So different to the Aussie slang. I love the Aussie slang more, I've got to say. But
I just read this last little bit. Dave looks up and he replies, "Who does this great big nong think he is? He's got more front than a rat with gold teeth. Just let me have a go at the big galah. I'll do him like a dinner."
I love it.
When his brothers talk to him, he says, "Strike a light, mate. Don't jump down my throat." So anyway, Strike a light. That's one I used to like. Strike a light.
Strike a light, yeah.
Oh, well, we'll have to get a copy of it and pop it up on our Facebook page today because I think we will need to have another look at it.
Yeah, now what's it called again, Col? What's your guide to the Bible called?
Mulga Bill's Dinkum Aussie Guide to the Bible. Hey, my son did all the artwork too. So,
well, it's very good. I can see Mulga Bill's on the front cover, and he looks like the most Aussie guy you've ever seen. A few teeth missing by the looks of it. A big Cobra hat on.
Yeah, flies all around.
Yeah, and there's a koala listening to the Bible story.
And Col, you're still believing that there's going to be a great move of the Holy Spirit in Australia, the great Southland of the Holy Spirit. That prophecy will come to pass.
Well, I certainly hope so. We desperately need it now. My goodness, if we ever needed a move of the Lord now, it's right now.
Well, we're agreeing with you, and we're excited for it, Col, and so thankful that we've got wonderful men of God like yourself and Jan, your wife, who have done the hard yards for so many years to preach the gospel faithfully across the country. So thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey, we love New Zealand.
Well, that's good.
God bless, guys.
God bless.
Good on you, Col. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that was so fun talking about what an Aussie version of the Bible, Andy.
I love that. I've never heard David and Goliath described in that way.
No, we'll get a copy off Cole and pop it on Facebook. Talking of Facebook, normally we would have our Bible study right now. Today, I'm going to put up a poll so you can have your say in where we should head next with our Bible study.
Yeah, which book of the Bible would you like us to do next? We just finished the book of Acts, and we're going to start afresh on Monday, and we're asking you, which book of the Bible do you want us to dive deep into and go through together? So all you got to do is go onto our Rise and Shine Facebook page and let your voice be heard.
Well, and before that, we can't really put 66 books, which is the number of books in the Bible, on the poll.
Yep.
If you want to help us narrow it down, like we're thinking Genesis is an option, Ephesians, Galatians maybe, but if there's some other books that you think, hey, I'd love it if you did a study on that, you can send us a text 0447 488 316 or a call and let us know which book we should be studying when we get back underway next week with that.
And I don't want to do Song of Solomon, so don't put that on the list, okay? So
there you go. Andy's already vetoed.
I want some nice mainstream ones.
Most books, any book of the Bible's up for grabs, apart from that apparently.
And if we go through Psalms, that's going to take a long time as well. It's 150 chapters.
Yeah, true.
It's half a year.
Right, well... Andy's very negative there. I'm up for anything. Let us know which book.
Fel will do anything. Any book you want.
Well, it's all good. It's all the Bible. Whatever you've got, let us know which book we should be studying next for our Bible study on Rise and Shine.
Always encouraging and always fun. Rise and Shine on Vision.
Ross is on the line. Ross, what are you thinking?
What do you do for a crust?
Oh, that's very good.
That's a good one, yeah.
For a living. Yes. Well, do you use that one?
Oh, I used to. I'm too old now to use that.
It's such a cynical term, isn't it? Because it really implies you're not earning much money, not earning enough. What do you do for a crust of bread?
Really?
Yeah, what do you do for a crust? Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So Aussie, though, isn't it? You don't hear it much anymore. What do you do for a crust? Another one of those sayings, Phil, that seems to be passing away a little bit. What do you do for a crust?
I'm flat out like a lizard rinking.
There you go.
That's my most Aussie. I can go there.
Love the Rise and Shine podcast? Tell a friend today.
So that is Chris Tomlin and Ben Fielding there. That's the first hymn. Now, that is incredible. It's very exciting because it's based off some original text of songs from the first century.
1,800 years old, Phil. I think they found it on a piece of papyrus in Egypt, and the boys have put music to it and made it into an amazing modern song, but it's actually 1,800 years old.
Imagine that. That is just incredible. And they put it together, that beautiful song, but also along with that, there's been a professional documentary made of the process of how they did that, both the writing of the song but also the archaeological find, putting together this incredible hymn, this first hymn, and bringing it into life into the modern world. And it's coming to a theatre near you not long from now, and there's an opportunity, Andy.
Yeah, well, number one, to go along and see this documentary and just see how they made how the song came about. But also, you can become a movie critic for us here at Vision. We're looking for movie critics, and we're going to pay you by giving you 2 free tickets, a double pass to go and watch the First Hymn documentary in a cinema near you. Phil, how do they win this double pass?
Well, if you are, this one is particularly for Brisbane. If you are interested in actually, it's going to be, we're going to have these launches in Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin and Hobart.
It's Australia-wide.
So you can jump onto vision.org.au/giveaway, pop your details in there and go in the draw for a prize for double passes. But particularly if you are in Brisbane, we're looking for some to be the very first of these reviewers on June 30th. So next Monday in Brisbane, if you can get along and you reckon I could be a reviewer, I could tell you what I think, we would love you. We've got 6 double passes to give away. It's very, very easy.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. You get to be with the Vision crew. We'll have Vision staff there as well. All you need to do, if you're in Brisbane, you say, I could get along to the First Hymn documentary premiere in Brisbane on June 30th. Text us 0447 488 316 and we've got 6 double passes to give away.
Exciting. Yeah, contact us today and we'll give you one of those double passes. We might even see you there and you can become one of our movie critics.
It is. But look, to help you get some idea of the background to this, we did get to have a chat with Ben Fielding. He was part of the team that put this song, brought it to life. Here's a little bit about what Ben had to say about the thinking behind putting together this song.
One of the things about this First Hymn project that I immediately found the 3rd century, and we don't know the name of this hymn writer, And you just mentioned some songs that modern hymns, and we often do identify the song with people, or, the movement that it's come from. But with this particular hymn, we don't know the church it came out of. We don't know the name of the hymn writer. So a big part of this process has been trying to imagine what it was like to be a believer back in the 3rd century early church, and why is it that they were singing the things that they were singing?
It's amazing.
So tell us the story behind this. So it was found by archaeologists.
Yeah, so it was discovered about midway through last century, and it's in a town called Oxyrhynchus in Egypt, and it was a papyrus that had about 80% of the lyric and about the same 80% of the melody of this ancient hymn that was written in ancient Greek and had been written on the back of what was essentially a corn contract and then discarded in like what was a dumpster, basically. And because of the compression, this papyrus had been preserved. And so it was discovered midway through last century, taken in biscuit tins from Egypt to the Oxford University, where it currently sits. And John Dixon reached out to me a couple of years ago and said, look, I'm doing a documentary on the significance of this discovery, this hymn. He's like, your part is to try to bring that back to life and to put modern melody to it, modern music to it, and gift it back to the modern church.
Amazing. That is Ben Fielding talking about this, the first hymn, the incredible project to bring back to life a hymn from ancient times.
Yeah, and it'll be a great documentary to watch as well. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing that one.
We're
Phil.
so excited. It's coming to a cinema near you in Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin and Hobart. You can get along and get some details about that by heading to vision.org.au/giveaways. But also we are particularly looking at, if you are in Brisbane, you can get to the very first one. We're after some special reviewers.
Yep.
I've got 6 double passes that we can give away here on Rise and Shine. All you have to do is send us a text.
Yeah, and if you're listening to the show earlier today, Phil said she got a $1 popcorn last night at the school musical. We can't promise you $1 popcorn at the cinema next week, but we can definitely promise you a free double pass. And you also meet some of the Vision stuff across Australia. I know I'll be in the Canberra and the Melbourne one. I think Greg Newman will be in Adelaide. I think we're going to be in the Hobart one, aren't we, Phil? So Neil Johnson's going to be at the Brisbane one. So come and meet some of the Vision stuff as well at this amazing documentary all about an 1,800-year-old hymn that's been brought back to life.
Just the right mix of things to inspire and things to make you smile. Rise and shine on Vision.
We've got someone on the line. Who have we got there?
It's Maz here.
Hey, Maz. Great.
From Western Australia, driving my bus as I do each morning, listening to you.
Oh, love it, Maz. Oh, how many kids have you got up with you at the moment, or are you still on your way?
None yet. We're still about to start. It's still a bit dark and frosty.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure. Are you calling with some Aussieisms for us?
Yep. We used to use this one a lot. I know it's more Old English slang, Old English Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah.
And that is we tell the kids, go get some dead horse and put it on the dog's eye.
There you go.
Put it on the dog's eye. So the dead horse, I'm all over. That's your sauce. But your dog's eye.
It's the pie.
It's the pie.
The pie and sauce.
The Cockney slang, some of us use that a bit. Within families, it's almost like a little secret cultural language, but it's a good slang.
Yeah.
It is. It's a bit of a code. You've got to decipher it. They could have used it during the war, I reckon.
Bit of an easy one, but thank you.
Oh, thanks, Maz.
Enjoy your day. Drive safely.
Cheers. Bye.
Richard in Swansea, what do you got for us?
G'day. Yeah, look, it's pretty wet down here today. In fact, it's so wet that ducks are wearing gumboots.
Even the ducks are wearing the gumboots this morning.
I'm pretty upset. I'm as mopey as a wet hen.
Can you say that again for me? Because I haven't heard that one before.
I'm as mopey as a wet hen.
Mopey as a wet hen? That's a bit cute.
The weather's pretty off. It's off like a bucket of prawns in the sun.
That's a good one. Off like a bucket of prawns in the sun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We could use that.
I like that.
I like that. That has good visuals.
Yeah, I've had enough now, so I'm going to shoot through like a Bondi tram.
Oh, Richard, thank you for and hooroo to you.
Yeah, hooroo indeed. Thank you.
Thanks, bye. Abraham in Sydney, what have you got from your Aussie slang for us?
Good morning. One common word that everyone uses, but it's how you abbreviate the usage of the word.
Okay.
Mate.
Yeah, you could use a whole sentence with that. Mate.
Yeah. So for example, you might be angry, you go, mate. Or you could be happy, you go, mate. You say to go, mate.
It's so true, isn't it? It's how you say it.
What a
It means
great
so many
word.
things.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and it's so simple because us Aussies, we love everything simplified. So, g'day, mate.
Mate. That's what I do to Andy all the time, mate. There you go.
So, Abraham, where were your parents from?
My parents, they were, and myself were born in Baghdad, Iraq.
Really?
Wow, you're an Iraqi. I was wondering, yeah. So you've obviously had to learn all these Australianisms and the way we say mate.
Well, the ironic thing is I come here when I was 9 months old.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So I followed the Australian customs of playing rugby league. Then I got into soccer. Then I got into cricket. Then I got back into soccer again. But even the barbecues. But I'll tell you one thing. Back in the 70s, in my younger days playing in the under-8s, under-9 soccer team, everyone, when they had the end of season barbecue, they were bringing the sausages and onions and potatoes and put them on the barbecue. Mum was rolling the kebab meat on the actual shish kebab.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, she would have been welcomed with open arms with that offering.
We got an invite every season.
I bet.
I think it was kebab rolls.
Oh,
I mean, that's one thing about Australia that's improved a lot, hasn't it, with immigration, is the food. Like, we've got such good food now compared to what we used to have. And good coffee. We used to just have instant coffee and tea.
It's not hard to beat bangers and mash, though. I mean, that's Murray's favourite food, my husband, but, it's not hard to beat that.
Hey, just bring Murray my way and I'll look after him.
Thank you. He'll take you up on that offer for sure.
Well, I might be looking up too, Abraham, next time I'm in Sydney, mate. I love a bit of, international cuisine.
But yeah, ironically, there's a nice little restaurant where I live, the Lebanese restaurant. They make all the nice kebab dishes.
Oh yeah.
The funny part is it's the name of the actual restaurant. It's called Frank's Restaurant.
Frank the Lebo.
Frank.
It's an Italian name run by the Lebanese bloke. It's in a Lebanese cuisine.
Oh,
love it. I love
Brilliant.
it.
Sounds perfect. Well, Abraham, thank you so much. You're a mate to us.
No worries, mate. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
You're a top bloke, Abraham.
See ya.
Guys, God bless you.
I've heard of all-day breakfast on the menu, but here's a brekkie show available 24/7. Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily podcast.
I am still so excited by all of the wonderful Vision family members who jumped on board to be part of Vision-a-thon, including Sarah, and from a company, Husky's Service Air Conditioning, who got involved to give. And so Husky's Service Air Conditioning, how great is that, Andy, when we have companies jumping on board? So thank you, Sarah. But I love this comment. The Lord has been at work in us and through our business this past year. All glory to him. He has enabled so much. Rest, income, connection, collaboration, security. He's gently carried us as needed and guides us in the way we should go. And I just love that, being a kingdom-minded business and allowing God to get involved. God is great at that stuff. When we ask for wisdom, it promises in James that he will give that to us. So we're just thankful for all of these Christians who run businesses and kingdom businesses out there in the community doing good for God.
Yeah, I heard about 1 year ago, Phil, they gave away 10% of all their profit to the work of God, and they had a factory. And then when I was a pastor of a church, we needed a building for our church, and we approached them and said, we want to buy that building off you. And they were so excited to sell the building to a church. So for years they tithed from that business, and then the business sold a warehouse to a church who then converted an old factory or warehouse into a church building. So yeah, there's something powerful, I think, when we use our businesses or our jobs, our time,
100%.
Whatever we've got, for the things of God, isn't there?
Yeah, well, God anoints you for, and we see even in the Bible, there are so many business people and people with careers and with jobs. I think Daniel, and when you look at him, he was actually an administrator. He was running a country. So it's important to have Christians in so many different spheres. But Andy, you've got a verse for us?
I do have a verse for us, Fel, in Romans chapter 5, verse 17. We were talking in the last hour about Adam and Jesus, how Paul's comparing the two. And he says this, if by the one man's offense death reigned through the one, that's through Adam, much more those who receive abundance of grace and the gift of righteousness will reign in life through the one, Jesus Christ. Amen. What a great promise for us that we can actually reign in life.
I love it. When you look at a king or a queen, they reign with their words, don't they? And there's so much the importance of what we say is what's going to actually happen in our world.
Subscribe and listen to the Rise and Shine podcast in the free Vision app. It's easy and available everywhere.
Well, Fel, we are joined by Melissa Gooden today from Retire Me Young. She makes so much sense when you're talking dollars and cents, and we are approaching June 30th, Melissa. What advice have you got for us today?
Hi, Andy and Fel. Thanks for having me. Yes, it's all about end of financial year in the wealth space. So pretty much everyone at the moment is claiming tax deductions for their super contributions. And if you heard me last week, or if you know what I preach, then everyone needs to be spending less than they earn so that they've actually got money to contribute into their super to claim back as a tax deduction. Especially if you're between 50 and 60, you really need to be focusing on your super. Up until 50, it's not as cool, but once you get to 50 and you're in the run up to 60 years of age, you really need to be focusing on your super contributions, because once you get to 60, everything in your pension, which is your second phase of super, is tax-free, and everyone over 60 should be in tax-free status.
Okay, so for that, just let's repeat that. So if I'm over 50 and I throw some money in my super between now and June 30th, I can claim that back as a tax write-off. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and remember, this is always general advice, because you always need to get advice either from an accountant or a financial advisor who knows what they're talking about, because you don't want to breach caps. You don't want to claim contributions that you could have had tax-free anyway. So it's really, you've got to know your numbers. You've got to log into your MyGov portal, go to the ATO section and find what it says in there is your caps for your contribution limits. But yes, as a general rule, between the ages of 50 and 60, you should be throwing money into super. You can do $30,000 a year. If you go into your MyGov, you might even have $70,000 to $110,000 that you can do. So anyone that's paying tax over the $45,000 a year into that tax into the tax bracket, anything over $45,000, really should be seeing a financial advisor or an accountant and getting this sorted out. And you need to do it every year. And really, it's getting a little bit too late. We always leave this week and next week for our emergency clients that have left it a bit late. So you will be able to find advisors that can possibly squeeze you in and help you out. But every year it needs to be on your agenda for May and June to get this sorted.
Okay. Well, look, if we've got people listening along now and they're saying, I don't have a huge amount put aside that I can put into super this week, maybe for next year I can work on it. Are there any other tips for them as they're preparing to make sure that they're ready for that June 30 deadline that we could get on top of this week?
Yeah, so if you haven't got money for this financial year, think about what you're going to be earning next financial year. Also think about whether you're selling an investment property or whether you're selling some shares, because that'll trigger capital gains, which will then mean you're going to have capital gains tax potentially on top of your income for next year. And that really, really, really needs to be sorted out. So often people will sell an investment property, they'll have cash in their pocket, they won't know what to do with it. And unfortunately, a lot of people think, oh, my accountant's going to sort it out, they'll deal with it. But I'm going to give you a quick story. I had clients come in the last 3 weeks of financial year last year. They'd sold an investment property 3 months prior. Their accountant had done everything sorted. They weren't expecting to ever speak to their accountant, till next year. They luckily came in to see me, and I was like, you haven't offset the capital gains tax on your investment property. So neither them or their accountant knew anything about it. So luckily we sorted it out for them, and they ended up saving about $40,000.
Wow.
Whoa.
So they're obviously crazy happy, and they've referred a bunch of clients. So this is how important it is. But unfortunately, a lot of accountants won't do this. I literally also just 2 minutes ago, before jumping on, got an email from one of my new clients who we've rushed through this week. Their accountant, I emailed and said, hey, what's their unused carry forward concessional contributions? And he wrote back saying $116,000. Again, another accountant that has $116,000 that he could claim for one of his clients, and that isn't going to do it.
Man.
So really, it's something you need to take control of yourself and see an advisor about. So in answer to your question, Fel, the things that you can do right now is if you don't have a large amount of money in your regular contribution into your super, you can do it weekly, you can do it from your pay. And then if you're doing it weekly or from your pay or every time you get paid, then you get to May every year and go, okay, now I see someone and ask them, what do I do? How much do I claim? Make sure you get it all sorted. But at least it's going to help cash flow that contribution. So even if you can put $100 a week in or $200 a week in, whatever you can do, it's going to make a big difference when it comes to tax time.
Well, I love that because the Bible tells us to be wise stewards. And so it sounds like there's some wisdom in getting some help in that stewarding process. So we're so thankful, Melissa, for you jumping on board. It sounds like if there's an opportunity to be thoughtful about next financial year, which is about to start, we're so grateful that we got to have a chat with you.
And one quick question though, Melissa. If someone's got crypto, does that have a capital gains tax associated with it as well if you sell some digital currency?
Okay.
It generally does now. In the old days, maybe no, but most crypto now is fairly well tracked.
Oh, okay then. Good to know.
There you go.
Well, some great advice, Emily. It sounds to me like if you pay tax or if you've got an investment property, you just got anything slightly complicated rather than just be retired already. Though it sounds like it's good to get some good advice from someone like yourself, Melissa. If someone wants to find you, Melissa, how do they find Retire Me Young?
So if you jump on our website, there's a 15-minute free booking link. You can just pick a time of day that suits you. One of my staff will give you a call, have a chat, see how we can help, and they'll book you in a free appointment with myself. I'll go through your situation, no cost, explain what I can do, how we charge, what your options are, and you can take it from there.
Oh, thank you so much, Melissa. Well, there you go. June 30, just around the corner. Good to have some advice.
And you know what? It's always good not to pay the government too much. If you can legally not pay them too much, Phil, I'm all for saving on tax, that's for sure.
Brought to you by the generosity of Vision family members across Australia and around the world. The Rise and Shine podcast.
Richard has been texting. We've had so many texts, so many calls. And Richard put one out that I hadn't heard of before. I've had to Google it. He says a slang word he heard plenty as a kid was Shank's pony. So if your push bike had a flat tyre and you had to go to school, you might have to go by Shank's pony. So I've done a Google search for it. Any ideas, Andy?
I've actually haven't heard that one, Phil, and I've heard a lot of them, but I don't know that one.
Okay, here we go. This is the British version.
Yeah.
It's Shank's pony is used to refer to one's own legs and the action of walking as a means of conveyance.
Well, there you go.
That's the King's English version of
Well,
that.
speaking of legs, Katarina's also sent us a text in, and she said one of her favourites is, I nearly died with my leg in the air. And she says that something was surprising or shocking to me. I nearly died with my leg in the air, like you suddenly die.
Oh, there you go. There. Oh, see if you can use that one during your day today. You might get a few odd looks. But look, we are taking your calls. 1-800-316-316 is the number to give us a buzz on. And I can see a couple of calls coming in. I think first up we've got Owen. Owen, have you got one for us?
Yeah. I reckon you're going to have to pitch in with some elbow grease for that hard yakka.
That's it. I grease hard yakka. I like those sayings.
Well, he's on the tour.
That's it. Hard yakka, hard yakka.
Oh, brilliant. Owen, awesome. Thank you so much for your call.
No worries. God bless.
God bless. Bye. G'day, Jim.
Good morning.
Oh, there we go. That was a very formal. I was trying to do my best Aussie.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi, have you got some Aussieisms for us?
Yeah. How about Stone the Crows?
Stone the Crows.
Yeah, we had a few calls with that one today.
Yeah, I still don't exactly know what it means. Is it just being mean to the crows?
Well, no. No. It means that it's an expression of disbelief.
Right. Like, oh, goodness.
Like as in, Stone the Crows, I don't believe you got here.
Yes.
Yeah, where do you think it comes from? I don't know where it comes from, Jim. Do you know the origins?
No, I don't, but a friend of mine still uses it.
Maybe because the crows were annoying because they make so much noise. So they were like,
probably.
Stone the crows.
It's a good hypothesis.
Keep it down. There you go. Settle down.
Another one is Stone the Crows. Are you for real?
Yeah, we do need that. Are you for real? Okay, we're adding those to the list. Do you use them very often, Jim?
I don't, but a friend of mine does.
Okay. We all know someone, don't we, who uses them a lot?
We all know somebody.
Yeah, the most Aussie. I think Andy's probably the most Aussie person I know. So there you go. Oh, very good effort. Well done. Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Have a great day.
See you, mate.
Oh, loving all of these Aussie slang. There's just so many coming in. And we've got I've got another hour, and then at the end of the show, we're going to put this together for Danny Goki. So you've got a little bit more time to get your ideas in for us.
I think we've got some good ones, though.
I think we've got enough to confuse them. probably concern him.
Well, he's definitely going to know how to say smashed avo because that's important. When you're in a cafe in Australia,
know.
you've got to order some smashed avo on some sourdough.
Feta cheese on the top, bit of balsamic vinegar.
Maybe in the arvo.
In the arvo with some smashed avo. Maybe we'll kick it off with that.
Yep.
It's all downhill from there.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Vision's breakfast show is now available around the clock and on demand? Incredible! The Rise and Shine podcast. Rise and Shine.
Beat the toaster.
That's right. It's not about being mean to a toaster. It's just that you've got the time it takes to make some toast. You've got to try and work out. We've got 10 questions for you, and you have to answer them with a single letter. And on the line, I have a very brave contestant. Gail, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Now, we love having you on here, Gail, and we're pretty excited. How's your brain feeling this morning?
Normal.
Oh, well, then you'll be fine.
Is it heightened because of a coffee? Have you stimulated
coffee.
your brain
Okay.
for greater activity?
No, it's just busy.
Oh, it's dizzy. Okay.
We should get some interesting answers then.
Well, you've got 10 questions in 60 seconds, so you've got to bust out an answer every 6 seconds. That's the math anyway, Gail. Do you think you're up for that challenge?
All right. Okay, we'll see how we go.
Okay, and the letter today is B. B for best. So that will be easy.
Or B for Bob.
What could go wrong? B for Bob. Okay, here we go.
B for beautiful.
B for beautiful. Bestie.
B for bestie. There you go. I thought of that one as well. Gail, are we ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, stand by.
Here we go.
You're about to have 60 seconds to answer these 10 questions, and your time starts now.
A children's character.
Bear.
A musical instrument.
Pass.
A TV show.
Pass.
An item worn above the waist.
Beret.
Something with a tail.
A bear.
A name of a river.
Pass.
Something you see at the beach.
A ball.
An occupation.
Builder.
A 5-letter word.
Bloke.
And something hot.
Boiling water.
So we need number 2, a musical instrument.
A blower.
A TV show.
I don't watch TV.
Or a movie. I'll take a movie.
A movie.
Oh, Gail.
It could have.
Sorry.
No, that was hard. I might change it to a movie.
You were undone by the TV show.
I was thinking of Banjo Patterson, or I don't know if that's actually a show. Bondi
maybe,
Rescue,
yeah.
Brady
Bondi
Bunch.
Rescue. There you go, Brady Bunch.
TV. I think that's
the problem. That was the
That was your downfall.
Like, we might have to change that
Hey,
category.
look, I need to ask a question, Gail. Have you ever seen a prawn at the beach? Because I haven't.
A bear. What was B?
I said a ball.
A ball.
I think you said a
Andy's
prawn.
ears, my goodness. And the name of a river was the other one. It could have been like the Brisbane, the Burdekin. There's a few
Brisbane.
B's. The Brisbane
No,
River is
how
probably
silly,
the
I
one
didn't
near
hear.
you. Yeah, that's the closest one to you, I think. But some great answers. I love that if someone can come up with a word used for multiple answers, I think that is even more impressive.
You were very sharp, Gail. Some of those answers just came very fast.
Very fast. It might be the question, so we'll keep working on those. But Gail, well done. Play again with us another time.
Will do. See you guys.
Thanks
God
so
bless.
much.
I've heard of all-day breakfast on the menu, but here's a brekkie show available 24/7. Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily podcast.
Well, as we continue our search for Aussie slang to send to our American artist friend Danny Goki, who better to ask than Aussie pastor Matt Prater in the house. Matty, welcome to the studio again on Rise and Shine.
Oh, mate, fair suck of the sauce bottle. How you going?
I'm having a ripper day, mate. How about you?
I'm it, mate. Yeah.
You preaching in America, Matt.
It is so true, Fel. My kids were so embarrassed. Because I'm over going, crikey, here you go, mate. Yeah, fair income beauty ripper. You
That's awesome.
And I just act like Steve Irwin for
Irwin,
some, I don't know why. Yeah.
You put a crock under your arm. Look, we're going to the States later on in the year. So I'm wondering, you go either way. I'm either going to go full American and my accent, or I'll go full Aussie.
Yeah, well, if you're doing drive-through, you have to be American.
Okay.
Because they can't understand you.
Yeah.
I'll have a Big Mac and fries, please.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
That is a terrible American accent.
Yeah, okay. But I've got something special. I interviewed years ago the guy who wrote the Aussie Bible.
Oh, okay.
And his name's Kel Richards.
Yep.
He's actually on news radio, Sky News regularly. He'd be a great guest for you guys. Great man of God, loves the Lord.
Yeah.
And this is Genesis 3, 1-6 from the Aussie Bible. I think you guys will enjoy this. Okay. There was this Sheila who came across a snake in the grass with all the cunning of a con man. The snake asked her why she didn't just grab lunch off the tree in her garden. And God, she said, had told her she'd be dead meat if a fruit salad came from the tree. But the snake told her she wouldn't die. So she took a good squiz and then had a bite and passed the fruit to her bloke. Right then and there, they realised that they'd done the wrong thing and they felt like they were starkers. How good is that?
That is awesome.
That's very good, actually.
So he's rewritten the whole Bible.
The whole Bible.
The entire thing.
Yeah, you can search up the Aussie Bible.
Yeah.
He's definitely done the New Testament and Genesis, and I think he's done the Psalms. I'm not sure if he's done the whole Old Testament because that would be a lot of work. But yeah, you can search up the Aussie Bible, and it's a great way to evangelise. I've actually shared verses in my sermons, and non-Christians love it because they go, "Really? Is that from the Bible?" Well, it's actually what it's about. Adam and Eve and the snake. So it's just good fun. And I think as preachers, as radio guys, as evangelists, we should be a bit more Aussie because we do have a lot of American influence in Australia, don't we?
Use the language of the people, Matty. But I like that. That must have taken a long time to write that too. To look at every little word and phrase and Aussiefy it.
Yeah.
But as a kid growing up, Matty, what are some of the really famous Aussie sayings you remember?
Yeah. Well, I remember flat out like a lizard drinking was one of the big ones. Mad as a cut snake. One that isn't really Aussie, but it is one of my favourites. It could be an Aussie one, if we use it in a sermon, He was sweating like the devil on Easter Sunday morning. Yeah. I love that one. That's a good one. I heard an Aussie preacher say that one once. But I just think it's one of the fun things. And whenever Americans come over, they love learning this stuff. So, let's make sure we get Danny Goki to do some stuff at his concert. I think that'll be good.
Well, I was thinking of teaching him to say to every concert, to every crowd, "Hey, you pack of drongos, good to see you."
I wasn't so sure about that.
Yeah, he might lose the crowd, but no.
But he'll have a good time.
Actually,
He'll have a great time saying that.
That's right.
Very fun.
The good thing about Danny Goki, he's definitely going to make a difference whatever he does.
I think. You think so? I think he's actually making a comeback too.
Oh yeah. Okay, that'd be fantastic. I'd like to see that.
It's a comeback tour.
Yeah.
Well, Matty Pareto, thank you for bringing your Aussie slang and your Aussie stories.
It was a rip snorter. Bless you guys.
Oh, there you go. We are loving all of this slang. Aussie slang is the winner, I think.
I think it is too, Phil. And I think Danny Goki's going to be the winner too because he's going to know some Aussie slang when he gets here to sort of mix it up with the locals a little bit.
Yeah, the drongos, is that you're trying to call? I don't think you should use that. Fair crack of the whip.
Rise and shine on Vision Christian Radio.
And I want to give a big shout out to Ruth in Bunbury, Western Australia. And we've got some wonderful Vision family in the Bunbury region. And she was involved and got involved with Vision-a-thon, one of the 5,227 wonderful Vision family members who jumped on board to give. And we're so thankful. But Ruth's also said this: "I love listening to Vision Radio as I'm driving, as it calms my nerves." And it made me think, it is just so powerful, isn't it? Hearing Christian voice words, but also in scripture and song as you're driving along. It helps me, Ruth, as well. But I thought maybe we could just quickly pray for all the people driving right now. If you are in the car or if you're doing school drop-off or pick-up, as a mum, can I just say that is probably one of the most stressful things you can do.
Can be.
Maybe we'll just pray for everyone who's driving right now. Do you reckon, Andy?
Let's do it.
Okay, Father God, we just quickly pray for everyone who is driving in their cars right now. We thank you for a hedge of protection around them, that safety protects them. There's angels surrounding them just like a shield, but also for the peace that passes understanding to guard their hearts and their minds through Christ Jesus, and that we would walk in a peace that is not of the world, but directly of you. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, we've got a Bible verse too, Phil,
Awesome.
and we are in the book of Romans chapter 5. This is our last one for today and also the last one from Romans 5.
Ooh.
We've been comparing Adam to Jesus. It says, by one man's disobedience, that was Adam, many were made sinners. Also by one man's obedience, and this is Jesus, going to the cross out of obedience to God, many will be made righteous.
How good is that? And righteous means right standing with God. You can stand before God as if sin never existed when you've accepted Jesus as your Lord.
Just spreading all over the earth today. More than 2.5 billion people claim to be Christians today, and everyone who believes in Jesus, as you said, and calls on his name is made righteous in the sight of God.
And it's good news because it's sometimes you can feel like, and in the Bible, there were some people who came to Jesus and said, what can I do? How good do I have to be? What do I have to give to get this salvation? But it's not about that, is it, Andy?
It's a free gift.
It's whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. It's that easy. And if you're sitting there right now and you've never heard that, I just encourage you that if you just ask Jesus to be the Lord and Saviour of your life, that's all it takes.
Yeah, and you can be made righteous as well as a free gift from God himself.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We're caffeinated and ready to face the day. This is Rise and Shine on Vision.
Look, I think we're almost ready to put a lid on it. That is our quest to find as many Aussie sayings as we could for our old mate China Plate Danny Goki when he comes down under.
Yep.
I've got one here from Dwayne in Brizzy, and he says, I was having a jabber with the cheese and kisses and figuring I might grab me an old China plate and his billy lids and hit the frog and toad to steak and kidney for the next state of origin. I don't know what that steak and kidney, what does that mean? To steak and kidney?
And
Sydney.
To Sydney, yeah. To Sydney for the next state of origin. There you go. You're going to hit the
Very
frog
well
and
done.
toe, hit the road.
Hit the road.
Yep.
It
Get his
takes a
billy
bit.
lids, his kids and his mate. So his mate, and he's talking to his wife, the cheese and kisses, and he's going to take his mate and his kids down the road to Sydney to watch a state of origin.
What? Why didn't you just say so, Dwayne? But it has been fun trying to decipher all this Aussie slang.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to become a little bit less Aussie again.
Oh, come on, Fel. Come on.
I feel like we're slipping. We're slipping
Okay,
as
Fel.
much as we
Aussie,
can.
Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
There you go.
Actually, no, Millie, when she was growing up, when she was little, she used to go, she was small during some of like the Commonwealth Games and stuff. And we would go, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. And she would go, oink, oink, oink. So cute.
That is very cute.
That is very
Oink,
cute.
oink,
So
oink.
in our house, it's still Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oink, oink, oink.
Yeah, very
Adorable.
good.
But look, we have put it out there. If you've got some Aussie slang that we can pass on, and we're going to make a video up not long from now for Danny Goki, give us a call. And I think we've got time for one more. I can see I've got Susan on the line. Now, Susan, you've got here that you might have a poem for us?
Yes, I have. I actually made up a few years ago, and I think it's interesting. It's a couple of verses.
Okay, go take it away.
Now that we are cobbers, that's the heading. Hey, mate, we are ready for that trip to the outback. We must not forget to stop at that servo to get some petrol. Don't forget to pack your swag, sunnies, thongs, and your runners. Could be handy too. Bring some extra dacks. I don't think we will swim in the billabong, but bring your bathers too. Now the swag will be handy because after a game of two up and you've had your slab of beer, you will all want to have a kip in your swag. Your tucker is just going to be a sanger with a snag on it. It may be a tinny or two, pardon me. Now we have the coldies and the esky. We don't need to worry about the booze bus. Crikeys, us blokes are cobbers. Now, all of the above is not a furphy, because it's all true. It's real. Sick, mate. That's my pun.
That's very Australian.
Very Australian. And furphy, we haven't had that one yet. That's very good.
I like it.
Almost every stanza has several words that are very Aussie, like swags and sunnies and thongs and runners and
Billabong.
Billabong, bathers, etc. I've just had a lot of fun writing it up, and I thought it would be handy. If I was going on a bus trip somewhere, I could read it out to people, but I haven't done that yet. But one day I might.
Well, very fun, and it fits in with our theme beautifully. So you made good use of it today. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you. Thank you so much to you both. Bye now.
Bye. Oh, that's very impressive. A whole poem. I don't know if we're going to get that together for Danny.
She was practically another Banjo Patterson, wasn't she?
Yes, that's
Right in verse.
Man for the Snowy River. No, brilliant though. We have thank you seriously to everybody who's got in touch. We've had so many texts, so many beautiful phone calls, and we're going to have to package it together somehow because it is very impressive the amount of Aussie knowledge that we have here.
Always encouraging and always fun. Rise and shine on Vision.
Hey, look, we're going to hand over the rest of the Vision crew, but I should say I'm actually not going to be here tomorrow.
Ooh.
So did you know you knew that, Andy?
Well, I was just trying to act surprised.
Oh, sorry. I was just a bit like, I think I've mentioned it in passing.
A few times.
I have some appointments tomorrow at the hospital, so I'll be there. But don't worry, you'll be in good hands, and you'll be here driving the ship, getting a brand new sound for the Bible Story Sounder.
And our favourite mum of 6 kids will be here, Shelley. She'll drag herself away from the shoe she lives in with those 6 kids and have a little holiday here at Vision for 3 or 4 hours.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It's going to be a fun show, and I will definitely be back. It's just the morning, a few appointments, and then we'll be back to normal. But you're being left in some capable hands, and whatever you're doing today, we just pray God's blessing upon it. May you be prospered in all that you do, and we will see you soon on Rise and Shine.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.